Let's talk about the Americans in action. Let's talk about Group G here. Brenden Aaronson, a friend of the show. We are fans. He was great today as Salzburg beat Wolfsburg 3-1. That was Aaronson against Jonathan Brooks, of course. We talked about Serginho Dest as well. But interesting matchup there. But how'd you like Brenden Aaronson today, Jimmy?
Yeah, I thought he was good. He's playing in the 10 spot underneath Adeyemi, who might be one of the top young strikers in the world. I don't know how much longer he's going to be at RB Salzburg. I assume that somebody's going to take him and snatch him up. He was with Bayern Munich's academy, so maybe he goes back to Bayern at some point, even though he's in the RB system, so maybe he goes to RB Leipzig. You got Okafor, who's 21. He scored 2 goals today, hit one off the crossbar or hit off the post, and he could have had a hat trick, and they are very good. RB Salzburg have not lost a game all season in all competitions, and that really speaks to the type of quality that they have in their team. And Aaronson, running the point, pulling strings, looking very comfortable out there. I thought he was excellent again today. It doesn't look out of place, right? And I think that's the most important thing is us as Americans, when we see our players playing in big competitions over in Europe, do they look out of place? And every time I watch Aaronson play, he never looks out of place. He looks like he belongs there. And he's driving the game. It's not like he's a passenger, right? He's actually out there pulling the strings, trying to make stuff happen. So really impressed with him. He really is. He really is. And before you could see that fear at when he first got started, like anybody would have, especially as a teenager. You're coming over, leaving home for the first time. Thankfully, he had Jesse Marsch there to, I think, ease him into that from a RB Salzburg standpoint. But then Jesse Marsch is gone and doing his thing at Leipzig. But he was already comfortable at that point. So I'm really loving, and I especially appreciate that the new manager is giving him the opportunity to trust him as well, even though, because I feel like there's still American bias at times. Now, with regard to John Anthony Brooks and Wolfsburg, I think they really missed out on not having Wout Weghorst. Their top striker had COVID, so he's out now, which is a little bit unfortunate because I feel like they would have given a better account for themselves. John Anthony Brooks didn't look great, not my highest rated player during that game. And I wonder if he can start to figure out, he missed the last international break due to back spasms, whatever the hell that means, so I hope he's getting back to top health because we need as much depth as possible for our national team. He didn't look great today, but hopefully he just needs a couple running games to get back to his sharpness.
Yeah. Well, here you go, Brian. Thank you so much. We did ask, we had a poll, right? Saying what American has impressed you the most so far. Brenden Aaronson clearly in the lead. And Brian says, McKennie had some great runs into the final third today. He just couldn't finish. The goals will come. Well, I think, Brian, that game in the USMNT qualifiers, that final one, I thought McKennie was great. And I think that gave him a little confidence as well. But what do you think, Jimmy, about McKennie, hopefully kind of learning from his mistakes and sort of getting better as we close up the year?
Yeah, for me, with regard to McKennie, and I think that's a great comment, he did make some good runs. I do think that he's getting smarter at picking his spots as to when to go and when to stay. I think that's really important. I think it'll actually start to play a lot into his decisions for the U.S. because we have capable players. He doesn't have to be the hero every time he goes forward. He doesn't have to be Mr. Clutch, even though I'll take it when we need it.
Yeah.
And I thought today he joined the attack in really meaningful ways. I thought he was busy, right? And I love that he played all 90 minutes. That there's that trust from Maxi Allegri in a must-win game. All things considered for Juventus, who have been on a fine run, 6 straight wins, 4 consecutive clean sheets, and Szczesny's starting to come into form. So Juve's looking pretty good. Did enough, scoring in the 85th minute by Kulusevski.
Yeah, it wasn't a pretty game, but they got the job.
Yeah. But that's the Maxi Allegri special. Let's be honest.
He likes it ugly. Yeah,
he does. He really does. And so I was impressed with Weston McKennie, but just Juve overall, they seem to have attached themselves to some tactics that are working. And I think they needed to shed Cristiano Ronaldo for them to find that under Maxi Allegri. And I think they're only going to get bigger and stronger from here and better. So it'll be pretty interesting to see how competitive they can be for the Scudetto this season.
Yeah. Good question here from Ilias. Obviously, we know Brenden Aaronson and Salzburg, a good relationship, an early one, but, maybe you see him with all due respect to Salzburg, a bigger club. Where do you think Aaronson will go next? And what club suits him the best, in your opinion, Jimmy?
That's a loaded question, Ilias. I appreciate it. I mean, RB Leipzig feels like the nice stepping stone, right? We saw Dominic Szoboszlai do the same. He went and did an excellent job of kind of taking that step. And unfortunately, he had some of that growing issues and in sports hernia, which I had.
The
So
Bundesliga is a good place for him.
Yeah, I think so. It's a nice stepping stone. I mean, we saw Patson Daka leave RB Salzburg to go to Leicester, and he's having trouble getting into the lineup. Though I do have to say, Patson Daka scored 4 goals today.
Killed it today.
Against Spartak Moscow. The guy's feeling it, and I hope he gets more minutes. Though Iheanacho's been excellent. Jamie Vardy's been excellent too. So I don't know where those minutes are going to come from, but it's nice for them to have that, a quick pivot into Patson Daka. But with regard to Brenden Aaronson, there has to be a space or a team that allows him to fail, right? If you have someone that's creative, you got to give him a run out. When I look at Jadon Sancho in particular, I don't feel like he's had that run of games where he could fail, but he hasn't really been trying things. I feel like he's still playing kind of safe because he doesn't want to lose his spot as a no, like, hey, I got the coach's back or the back.
Well, he doesn't have a squad right now, right?
He doesn't. Didn't start today, but when you go at Borussia Dortmund, for instance, he could not have a good game and it wouldn't cost him his starting position the next game. Like he knows that he'd have the confidence to kind of continue to be run out. And when I look at Brenden Aaronson, I feel like that would be his next spot before he goes into makes a big jump to the Premier League. And it's so cutthroat that he has to be good every single week or he's out. And I feel like I still want him to grow into that as opposed to just being thrown into that. So we'll see. I think Bundesliga, to your point, Luis, is probably a good spot for him to go.
Yeah, so honorable mentions as we wrap up the Americans. By the way, honorable mentions to Tim Weah. He came on in the last 10 in a stalemate against Sevilla for Lille. Jordan Pifok as well. Not so great versus Villarreal. But Villarreal came for blood. They knew they needed something.